Hello, everyone, and welcome, as always, very welcome into our home with myself and Remy, where we discuss in our sitting room all things narcissistic. We do this in order so that we can totally understand what we've been through and protect ourselves going forward against these type of people. The narcissist loses when you understand this. This podcast, I'm hoping, is going to set a lot of people on the road to freedom, because it hits at the very core of what we need to understand to free ourselves from the trauma bond and the dynamic that the narcissist wants us to remain in, so that they can continue to emotionally regulate themselves and can back us up as a form of narcissistic supply to return to by hoovering us at a later stage. So I'm going to start off with the answer to the question of what should you understand for the narcissist to lose and to not be able to harvest your emotional resources and energy, aka narcissistic supply. And then I'll explain why. So I hope it's helpful. It's not you. It's not you. It's not what you did or didn't do. When a narcissist is in a relationship with someone, this always happens. It doesn't matter who the person is. The narcissist switches people into different relationship roles because it's not you. It is what you can provide for the narcissist, but it's nothing to do with who you are as a person, your spirit, your beauty, your soul. Narcissists switch people like they would install a new washing machine or buy a new car. It's a personality disorder, or it's a person who lacks empathy, who practices a lack of empathy, which is, in my opinion, practicing evil, practicing destruction. So with that understanding, and with the understanding that the narcissist is operating out of a level of emotional intelligence that would be the equivalent, emotionally intelligent wise, but not in other ways, of a 4-year-old child. So if you put yourself in the position of having a relationship with the 4-year-old child, and the 4-year-old child having a tantrum because it can't get its way, look at the amount of upset you will feel and the perspective you have on that upset. You understand cognitively and naturally that the 4-year-old child is hitting out at you because the child can't get its way. It's not hitting out at you, the child isn't hitting out at you because of who you are as a person. It's because you're obstructing the child from getting what the child wants. And that's essentially what the narcissist is doing when they start to devalue you and punish you in the relationship. It's not you. It's the narcissist's issue. It's the narcissist's level of emotional intelligence. And I think that's extremely freeing. And it's not a blame the narcissist and you're perfect in the relationship and everything and you're a perfect person. It's taking the perspective from a realistic point of view. The narcissist loses when you stop believing that the narcissist has a valid opinion because the narcissist isn't coming from your level of emotional intelligence or from the humanity of having empathy and being able to have fruitful relationships with other people that are reciprocal and that are going to be balanced. The narcissist switches people, as I've said before. The other part of this, in relation to freeing yourself and healing from the bind the narcissist wants you to stay in, so you feel less than, you feel punished, you feel a loss. Looking at the loss and the sorrow and the grief, there is a very relevant element to that, in that you perceived that you were having a real relationship, and that's a loss. But when you look at the narcissist as not being a person of value, it diminishes your loss of the narcissist, I think 90%. But it's actually accepting that the mask isn't real, and that the narcissist will go on to do this to all of their partners in particular, and in a lot of familial and workplace relationships and friendships. Some they won't punish, but they will withdraw from and play the push and pull game with. But if they need to sustain a kind of a more distant source of supply, like a friend, they will groom them into a position, a holding position, so they may not punish them as badly as an intimate partner will get punished. So I'm going to go through what happens for the narcissist in the relationship, so that you can really grasp, and I suppose radically accept, that the illusion of the relationship with the narcissist was simply that. And that where you have strong feelings towards what you perceive this person to be, that it's okay to honour those feelings and honour the experiences you had from your perspective, and grieve in a sense of a loss for what you would have hoped for and dreamt for the story the narcissist told you, and for it not becoming true because you believed in it. So there's it's a complex grieving process. But if you understand this, you will free yourself so much quicker, and you will heal so much quicker. And the narcissist will, if you're in a relationship with the narcissist still, and the narcissist is doing this type of punishment and devaluation to you, you will be able to walk away with so much more clarity and so much more strength in overcoming and healing, and not allowing this destruction to further destroy your life, basically, because you'll escape quicker. And also, if you finished a relationship with the narcissist and you're still grieving because you feel a great sense of loss or abandonment, you can understand fully that you didn't lose something of value, that you lost a person who has a personality disorder or a dark attachment, whatever way you want to look at it, that can only cause destruction. Yes, they give you a good time initially, and they will tempt you, and they will future fake you, and they will cause chaos and confusion in your mind, and they'll make you question yourself, and they'll isolate you from family. Ultimately, they will cause you a distraction in your life and a huge amount of destructive energy sent towards you. So that's what you lose when you lose the relationship with the narcissist. This is about you freeing yourself, totally understanding what went on and what's going on with the narcissist. And this is a loss for the narcissist once you fully understand and accept this. That's how powerful this is, in my opinion. So I'm going to get into how the narcissist perceives, particularly in the intimate relationship. But this is when they're forming a new friendship, or even in the workplace. This all is the same. This can be fitted into different types of scenarios with narcissists. The narcissist perceives what you're going to be able to do for them when they meet you, and they fall in love with that. They fall in love with the advantages you bring to them. And that can be adulation, attention, monetary gain, a nice place to live, status, just the fact that you look up to them and you'll do and serve them in whatever capacity they require. You will be benefiting the narcissist. That's why they're with you, or they were with you, or with me, or with anyone they choose to deem a suitable partner in their lives. So they fell in love with that and your compliance at the beginning of the relationship. Because you were in love. You were in love. And most people in the beginning of relationships make that other person a priority because they want to get to know them. It feels great. They want to spend a lot of time with that person, and they're very attentive towards that person because they're keen to get to know the person, and it feels so darn good. So at that point, it's like a win-win for the narcissist. The narcissist is going, this is great. I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love with what you can do for me. And I'm in love with you. You know, you're the best thing since fried bread. And I'm in love with you more than anybody else I've ever been in love with in my whole life. For now. And that's the addendum. For now. They don't consciously say that. But I believe, as I said in one of the live podcasts in the members groups, I believe that they subconsciously know that, well, here we go, next, and we'll see how this works out. So if you can imagine how you are in the first 3 months of the relationship with the narcissist, or anybody in love with anybody, it can be quite intense. If it's too intense, it's a red flag. It's usually a narcissist love bombing, and you know, exactly what it says, love bombing you with attention, you know, compliments, flattery, gifts, whatever they're doing that gets you on side, or just even mirroring you and your interests in life, future faking, etc. All the goodies come at you flying, you know, one hits you, the next hits you, and you're overwhelmed. In any case, even in a normal in-love relationship, the first 3 months can be absolutely wonderful. And you are switched on and you are giving priority to the partner probably to get to know them. So without labouring the point, the narcissist expects that all the time. The narcissist doesn't expect that to dwindle. The narcissist doesn't expect that you might get sick, or that you need to give some part of your family a priority because they need your attention. Or you start a new job and you can't be as available for the narcissist. That's a no-no. No, that's not meant to happen. You are dealing with a 4-year-old of emotional intelligence, that type of level. So you're feeding the narcissist chocolate, and suddenly you're not there at the time of day that the narcissist is expecting the chocolate. And the narcissist is, no, this isn't acceptable. Why aren't you feeding me the chocolate? They're not thinking, oh, well, my partner, their father is sick and they're bringing them to the hospital. That doesn't equate, because you're dealing with not an empathic adult. So the narcissist then is of the opinion that you've changed. And I'm sure, let me know if you've heard that from your narcissist that you were with in the comments. You've changed. You're not the same person you were at the beginning of the relationship. You led me to believe that you blah, 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 blah. You have conned me. I wouldn't have gotten into a relationship with you if I knew you were like this. And the truth is, you will have changed, because that's the natural trajectory of a relationship. You cannot be switched on 100% as you were in the beginning all the time. And if it's healthy, the relationship graduates into an acceptance of other priorities in your life and things that are healthy for you that you need to do. And that's when you have a reciprocal relationship. and it matures into something wonderful and really, a deep love. That in love stage turns into real love. And it's a wonderful experience. But with the narcissist, it's a no, no, no. They start blaming you then and blame shifting and saying, you need to put out more for them. You need to make up to them for your badness, for you trying to con them, because they lack accountability. So they're not going to introspect and realize that it has anything to do with them. Because they're superior, they won't introspect, they lack accountability, and it's all your fault. And you can say, well, in a healthy relationship, Paula, or in that relationship, the narcissist changed as well. And the narcissist indeed does change. But what the narcissist is changing is not what they're doing for you. They're doing less for you. And they're accusing you of changing. So ultimately, that stage comes with any human being when they're not able to put out as much for the narcissist. The next point I would make, and then I'm going to go into the person that actually continues to strive to please the narcissist. And is there, there's often the question is asked, well, I did everything I possibly could for the narcissist. I never went against the narcissist. I upped my game. I went to the end of the earth for them, and they still left me. Why did they leave me at that stage? So I'm going to answer that question as well. But just in relation to the fact that it's not you, it's the narcissist, and they do this in every relationship, even relationships that they've gone off to with the new supply that look from the outside as being very successful. The narcissist, looking at the narcissist, and maybe give yourself a giggle, put the narcissist sitting at a little table in school, those little tables and little chairs that are really low down, and put the 4-year-old hat on them, and put yourself in the position of feeding the narcissist what at the beginning of the relationship the narcissist thought you were committing to. So in the beginning of the relationship, let's just for analogy purposes say you were giving the narcissist a bar of chocolate every day at the same time every day. And that's what the narcissist was happy with. That's what you'd agreed to. So you're giving the narcissist the bar of chocolate, and one day you can't make the arranged time to give the narcissist the bar of chocolate. If you appoint somebody else to give the narcissist the bar of chocolate, and the narcissist still gets the narcissistic supply, so to speak, that's fine. Now, they will hound you for your outage, for your lack of loyalty to them, and you will suffer. But essentially, once they get narcissistic supply and are supplied up and know that you're going to be punished so that you will be back to give them the bar of chocolate, and they get the bar of chocolate from someone else, that's okay. And when the narcissist gets to the devaluation stage, when they're looking to change supply, that you have stopped feeding them. You give them half a bar of chocolate, you don't turn up in time, you're not outputting what you used to output for them, and they're going to change to a more regular source of supply. They can go on to anybody. It doesn't matter once they're getting what they believe is the equivalent of what they should be getting. And then you'd say in the next section, well, why then, Paula? If I was putting out everything for the narcissist and I never stopped and I even upped my game and gave them more and more and more and more, did they leave me? There's two parts to this. One is that they get bored with the same old. And they don't have the concentration, span or any attachment level to you other than what they're getting. So they look around at Johnny or Jill at the next table and they have a different bar of chocolate. And they seem to be really licking their lips after that bar of chocolate. And it actually has nuts in it as well. I know this sounds crazy, guys. I hope it's landing well. They then say that they're fed up with just the plain chocolate and they want to try that. It looks much better. And Johnny is getting double helpings of that chocolate and they think that, well, they're entitled to that. Why should they put up with your old crummy bar of chocolate when they can see something much more interesting and delicious over there? So they go over to the next person that they perceive is going to give them something better. And the other interesting part as to why a narcissist will leave a good chocolate supplier, a good supplier of narcissistic supply for what they perceive may be better. If you are continuing to believe in the narcissist and you're continuing over years to put out for the narcissist and to make the narcissist your priority, like you nearly worship them, you're totally dependent on them, you're brainwashed and you're just there to serve the narcissist. Because they know they're not a good person, because they know they work and manipulate people, and some experts will say they don't. Some will say this is very subconscious. And I will say subconsciously, the narcissist is very connected to their conscious. Because I believe they do actually know what they're doing and they think it's good. They think it's a good idea because they think everybody else is stupid, being kind and generous and all this crap. It's okay to be kind and generous if you're going to get a lot back for doing that. Like if it's a good transaction. But doing it for no return? No. So they perceive the person who never lets them down. And even at that, they will say the person let them down because from their perspective, you will make a mistake at some stage. But let's say they're with a good source of supply and everything looks rosy in the garden and it would be crazy for them to leave such a good situation. They actually look down on you because they have fooled you so well. They've managed to take everything away from you that ever made you the person that you were or are. They've isolated you from family. They've made you a non-person. They've made you an appendage of themselves. And they don't like themselves internally. And they think you're a dreadful fool for accepting this as your lot in life and ultimately being fooled by them. So therefore, once they see you in that mode, you're not worthy to serve them. You're an idiot. So off they go to someone who doesn't know who they are, but is going to admire them and give them the kick that they get out of conning somebody new and watching the destruction and the taking over of that new person. There is a pleasure and an empowerment they get in the choosing, the conquest, the manipulation of the new person, and the maneuvering of the new person to continue giving out that supply when they fall in love with the new person's supply. So guys, that's about it on this particular how to make the narcissist lose out. Because if the narcissist loses out, you get less destroyed. You have a better chance of fulfilling your life's purpose and not suffering, not being down for such a long time, not being trauma bonded to the narcissist. So it's a win for you and you deserve it because the narcissist will have managed to take you down for quite some time. But this to me is the key to the invisible prison mental and emotional and spiritual, that the narcissist likes to leave people locked in the punishment phase, the holding cell, basically, for the narcissist to come back and poke you and see if you're primed to pump out supply for them again. I believe this is the key to freedom so much sooner and quicker, and to maybe not become entrapped if you're in the relationship with a person and that person is continually blaming you for the relationship not going well and taking no accountability themselves. And if you feel that your energy is being sucked out of you, that there's no time for your pursuits, that the person that you're with doesn't support you in your progress in life, I would suggest avoiding that prison cell that they will eventually put you in, where you believe as they walk out the door that you've lost something precious, when all you've lost is an energy-sucking dragon. That's it for now. We will see you again soon. I hope this has been of value. Bye for now.